Welcome to Deception Stoppers.
Peace.
All constitutional rights invoked, none waived. For this video, you guys know the routine. You guys know how it go.
This looks like the Supreme Court.
Oh,
Look how beautiful that is.
well, the first thing we want to talk about is suing a state official versus the municipality. Okay. Now, what we have come to learn is several different things, rather. And these different things that we have learned is that there are ways that these judicial people go about doing things that are ways that they have adopted of doing things. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. Pretty much what I mean by that is they have adopted the ways of not allowing judges to be held accountable for the unconstitutional acts that they commit unless they are particularly prosecuted for a crime. Now, as we have learned, the FBI has a duty of care to investigate violations of USC 241 and 242, just as the FBI has a obligation to investigate hate crimes, okay, like hate crimes, racial hate crimes, kidnappings and things like that. Just like I think the little girl's name was Jamie Kloss or something like that. The FBI was heavily involved with the investigation in that matter. But I'm bringing that up because, as you all know, that we had some issues where we pretty much put a federal lawsuit up against Judge Kimmelina Brown and Brian K. Elliott for their unconstitutional acts. Now, what we have come to find is that yes, it is true, a judge can be sued. Definitely, they can definitely be sued, but it's just not a common practice that they like to uphold unless that judge is being accused of a crime that the state agrees to allow them to be prosecuted for. Because, you know, keeping in mind these people work together every day, you know, state and federal officials work simultaneously to investigate like drug dealers, drug trafficking, and things of that nature. So they pretty much work. So they pretty much work together all the time to make sure those matters is dealt with. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I want to get into talking about something specifically here. Now, there is a claim that you can file against the municipalities, and it is called a Monell claim. Okay, it is called a Monell claim, and it came from Monell versus the Department of Social Services, which is a common law that was created by the United States Supreme Court. Now, the United States Supreme Court created this law to allow citizens that have been violated to seek redress for those violations, and it's called a Monell claim. All right, and this Monell claim, you have to have certain elements present for it to be a claim that will stand.
Isn't there another name? There's Monell and there's another name for it's not a collateral attack, it's something else. It's go ahead, I got it.
Yeah. So speaking about this Monell claim, there's particular elements that needs to be present to make it real. Okay. Now let me explain to you what needs to be present to make it real. There needs to be a custom or a policy that has been adopted. Now the strongest policy is a policy enacted by state legislatures. Okay? A policy enacted by state legislatures is one of the most firm elements. So again, a policy enacted by the state legislatures that denies constitutional rights or due process is largely the largest element. I'm sorry. Now, the second element that would need to be present would be a custom. Now, a custom is something that they just do because, oh, this is how we do this here. Just like Detective Sanford, was that Detective?
Yeah, that was Sanford.
Detective Sanford said.
That's just how they do things.
Yeah, when we reported the forgery that Mr. Todd Sidoti and Stacy Gilbert committed, Detective Sanford with the Columbus Division of Police said, well, that's just how they do things down there, and so when so it has been a custom that they have adopted, that they have become regularly adapted to over a certain period of time because they've done it to a certain amount of people. Now, with that being said, that would be a custom, all right? And the custom is identified as being upheld when it's consistently being done, when there exists a pattern of that custom, or when the final decision maker, which would be like a court of appeals or a chief justice, when they have agreed with the wrongdoing act and allowed it to be upheld, then that is a very solid Monell claim, okay? That is a very solid Monell claim. And actually, people can be held accountable on a Monell claim. So it does not have to be state officials. It doesn't have to be just someone who works for the courts. It could be your neighbor. It could be a wife. It could be a husband. It could be any of those kind of people. If they have acted in concert with state officials to violate the constitutional rights. If they have acted in concert to violate the constitutional rights with state officials, then they can be sued under that claim as well. They can be sued as well, federally. Okay, so it doesn't have to be a state official. They don't have to work for the state. All right. So if that person acted in concert with the state to deprive you of that right that's secured by the United States Constitution, then they can be held accountable. A claim can be solidified against them. So again, I just wanted to point that out, that the Monell claim is very important, and it allows you to seek redress from the government for constitutional violations against the municipalities. Any questions? No? Okay, so you guys know where to check us out. Check the channel out regularly. If you have any questions, enter it in the comment section, and we'll be delighted to answer those questions for you.
All right, that's up. Peace out.
Au revoir.